I begin to think of these videos like this one as a furnace side chat, like or FDR had his fireside chats. Uh, so comfortable to just sit here, but it's furnace side. I've got a subject that I'll deal with briefly, but I wanted to show you developments. I over here I made a second shelf. I brought a plank in and put it up there, and I used concrete blocks instead of that stack of bricks because that was too wobbly. I'll probably raise that another 3 inches or so, maybe. I might raise that. I'll lower these red bricks either possibly 2 courses. It would be nice, what do they say, copacetic, to have a single level line go the whole way around that bench and across here, and underneath that flue I intend to put a small stove, which I'll tell you about later on. And that table over there, now that'll be a different height. I think I'm going to bring that table out into the middle of the room, and you really use it like a table instead of just a catch-all. Over there is going to be my sink, which I should be able to use. I won't plumb it up. I'll just use buckets. But anyway, there you've seen. Oh, and my neighbor Andy was here, and we discussed things. He knows so much about everything. I intend to move that bonnet, I'll call it, up. I think I told you that already, and make it level, white on the other side. These developments are actually going pretty fast. All right, my subject is this. If you decided to take your octopus furnace, I don't like that name, but if you decided to take all the sheet metal down, which you'd have to do really anyway if you were going to get rid of it and go to some modern fossil fuel electric furnace, you'd still have to do that. But if you were to take all that stuff down, well, then your basement air and your upstairs air would become part of the same airspace. You wouldn't really, it doesn't really work to put filters on the registers. I guess you could, but then they don't really work. If you try to use this system of gravity air circulation, your basement air circulates along with the upstairs air, and that would present problems to probably most of you that would seem insurmountable, because basements in the old days tended to be dirty, tended to be damp, and by using the ducting you isolated the dirty and the damp from what you tried to keep as clean and dry up above. Well, with this system the two go together, which is better because your basement then is not dirty and damp. You have to really keep it clean, and it humidifies the upstairs, and the upstairs helps to dry it. Basically, you get a whole other floor of living space in the old houses. Now, you know, modern houses are a whole different thing. If you didn't have a concrete floor, well, even a dirt floor, I'd still even do that, but you could put sand down and pave it or something. Well, I guess my only point here is that if you decided you were going to also go for a best furnace ever with this massive wood stove idea, you would need to be ready to incorporate your basement space with your upstairs and not try to treat them as two different isolated spaces. All right, I guess that's enough for now. Bye. Here's something else I'll add just briefly. Do you see that concrete block? I brought them in from outside this morning. They were, 30 degrees probably, and soaking wet. But you see how it's drying out in this air? It's letting that moisture that was in the block into the air. And either tomorrow or very soon, I'm going to talk some about humidity and humidifying and dehumidifying in a basement in a house. But you see the bottom one has already dried out, but the top one is drying out.